Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are taking our very first look at the new Tier 8, I say new, it's been around quite a while, the Tier 8 German destroyer, the Z-46. So, without further ado, let's look at our commander. We're running Eric Bay, we have Jerzy Swirsky and William Sims as our inspirations. We are running Observant Rage, we are running Look at Me Now, Perceptive, and Smoke on the Water with Unstoppable as our perks. Okay. Our build, we have Aiming Systems Mod 1, we have Propulsion Mod, we have Concealment System Mod, and we have Gunfire Control System Mod 2. We are fully upgraded, and we are running the Italian Unity flag because it kind of looks like a Spartan helmet if you squint your eyes just right. And we made a permanent camo for this ship. Survivability with this build, 23,000 hit points. Artillery, you get 128mm L45 DRH LC41s. You get 6 of them, reaching out to 11.2 kilometers with this build, reloading in just 3.8 seconds, have a 180-degree turn time of just 10 seconds, firing HE with a maximum damage of 1,500 and a 7% chance to set fires, and AP shell maximum damage of 3,000. Torpedoes, you get 533mm Vierling torpedoes. You get 2 quad launchers, reloading in 90 seconds, doing a maximum of 14,400 damage. They can be spotted at 1.4 kilometers, so pretty average in that regard. They only have a range of 10 kilometers, though, so a little bit less than ideal. But they are 67-knot torpedoes, so at least they have a little bit of speed behind them. Not the fastest, but a little bit above average, I would say. AA Defense, 20mm Flak Vierling 38s. You get 12 of them, reaching out to 2 kilometers, doing 18 damage per second. 37mm Flak LM42s. You get 8 of them, doing 41 damage per second and reaching out to 3.5 kilometers. And then you have the 128mm L45 DRH LC41 dual-purpose main guns that you have 6 of, doing 45 damage per second, reaching out to 5 kilometers. So, AA defense, not particularly amazing, but it is a destroyer. Maneuverability, maximum speed 37.5 knots without the speed boost, so pretty solid. Turning circle 670, pretty solid. Rudder shift time 5 seconds with this build, pretty solid. Like it's a solid ship in terms of all that. The best part though, concealment's 5 kilometers. Why is that the best part? Well, it means you can get up close and personal with other destroyers and bully them around a little bit, provided you can get the guns to actually do what they're supposed to do. I'll talk about that more as we get into it. But 2.9 guarantee, or 2.9 kilometer detectability by air. 2 is always guaranteed. 2.5 kilometer smoke firing penalty. Statistics, you'll see I've only played 2 games. I've won 1, I've lost 1. Again, on a meet I like to just get a ship or get a game out there that kind of showcases the ship's strengths, weaknesses, and I got that in the second game. So pretty good showing on this thing so far. I actually kind of like the ship. I just don't know if it's going to work out the way I'd hoped it is in terms of an anti-destroyer role. But armor. Doesn't really have any armor. You get 19 millimeters pretty much everywhere. Okay? So keep that in mind. Not particularly well armored at all, as you'd expect out of a destroyer, but it doesn't have any like belt armor like you get on some of the destroyers, and it sticks up out of the water far enough that people can hit you pretty easily. Tough, above average base HP, which we've talked about. German destroyers tend to be pretty beefy. Big guns. This ship is armed with big guns. This is just stupid. I'm sorry, Wargaming, would you guys please pay attention to what you guys choose for your little like shows here? It doesn't have big guns. It has 128mm guns. It's 5-inch guns. It is normal guns for a freaking destroyer. I'm sorry. It's not big guns. It's not got 152s like you'd expect on the Germans, but they're really good 128s. They just don't do enough to destroyers. Extended sonar, also. It has sonar that has a detectability of 4.4 kilometers. I don't consider that extended sonar range. What is the base sonar? Is it 3.7 or something like that? So I guess it would be slightly extended, but still, 4.4 is pretty close. But it does come in handy, and you'll see some of that coming in as well. Z-46, a well-balanced design for a destroyer, 1936 C-type, intended for operations on the high seas. The major distinction relative to the classes that preceded her was her artillery armament, comprising up-to-date dual-purpose main battery turret mounts. She was designed in 1942, never really built, apparently. But I really do like this camo on this. This is the European camo, and it looks pretty good on this particular ship. The ship itself isn't a bad-looking destroyer, but again, it does stick out quite a bit up at the front, so you got to be careful. Those dual gun turrets, though, are pretty solid. I do enjoy them. That gives you a pretty decent amount of firepower. And you can get all the guns to bear at a relatively decent angle. Not that it matters if you're shooting your guns. Generally, you're going to be getting blapped back, so it doesn't really matter. But overall, I don't hate the ship. I actually like this better than the predecessors, which is something I don't always say for Tier 8s. But definitely prefer this ship over, say, the Z-23. But, yeah. With that being said, let's get to the gameplay. Alrighty, so we're going to be on riposte in the Z-46. I said I was going to talk about the guns in this, and I think you guys are going to see what I'm talking about. Now, against battleships and cruisers, if you have a chance to use idling cover or smoke screens, these guns are pretty great about setting fires. They're pretty reliable in that sense. They're very fast. They're decently accurate. Against destroyers in close quarters combat, they're not as good as I'd hoped for. I was really hoping for, because of the fire rate, I was like, okay, these HE shells are going to slap, but they really don't. The HE tends to shatter more often than not on destroyers, and then even when you load AP, thinking, you know, because some Germans have better AP that allows them to do some serious damage to destroyers, but unfortunately the AP just goes straight through destroyers and does minimal damage, if anything. So we're going to showcase some of that right at the beginning of this match, because you guys know me. I always try to counter destroyers whenever possible, especially when I'm in some sort of a gunboat that has some utility, like this thing with the sonar and the fast fire rate. Like, this thing is a contender. It's got a beefy hit point pool as well. Like, there's a lot of good about the ship, and I do like it. And it's sneaky enough too. It's 5 kilometer detectability, so it allows it to get up close and personal. It usually outspots everything except maybe a Shima or a Kleber that's running its go all out skill. So, like, it's very sneaky. It's very good. But the problem is the guns, while they do reload quickly, they don't punch destroyers, and that is a problem, because that gets you into some situations like we're about to get into. Now, again, it has other redeeming features, namely the fact that we're going to be going into the cap. We have sonar, we have smoke, we have the goods, right? But here you're going to see me go straight at the Delhi. I'm firing AP here. Didn't get the best shot. That was a little too far back. But you can see, even when we do hit him, like, we're overpinning. We're not getting any damage out of these. Now, there we get a better shot because he gets angled. But, yeah, we're struggling to do any meaningful damage to him with the AP because of the overpins. Maybe need to revisit the AP a little bit more. But, again, unless they angle, like, hitting them is kind of hard to do. Now, here you can see we actually get our rudder knocked out. I'm trying to fix that so we can reverse out of the way of that torpedo. But we know he's close enough for the sonar, and sure enough, we back up. We're able to get him spotted. But look at these shells. Notice how they're falling, hitting the armor belt of the Delny. The Delny has an armor belt, for those of you who don't know, just like the Tashkent and the Kaaba and stuff. So you can, in fact, shatter HE off of a Delny. But the thing that these guns tend to do pretty well at is just set fires. They tend to be pretty decent at setting fires. But look how long it's taken us to kill this frickin' Delny. And in the end, we're actually going to get yoinked from this kill. Like, we get another fire, he puts it out, we're hitting him again. We're just getting no real damage out of these shells. And he turns away just in time for our shells to fall short, and then the Yami finishes him off. But he's not the only one. There's another one coming, and look at, because we have twist and track, or perceptive, sorry, because we have perceptive, we know that there's a destroyer coming, and it is the gearing. So we can put ourselves in position to counter him. Now, you can see, I thought he was just going to yellow rush us, so I hurry up and drop that one a little bit early. these torpedoes are quick enough to catch destroyers in close quarters here. But you can see we're expecting him to YOLO rush us. He does, in fact, YOLO rush us, but he takes some damage on the way in, which is huge. And now that we're spotted because of guaranteed acquisition, we can finish this guy off relatively quickly. And you can see we're not shattering on a gearing. He doesn't have the armor belt that the Russians do, so we're able to just chunk him pretty well. Not quite as hard as I would like to chunk him, but hard enough that we're able to get rid of half his hit points relatively quickly and get rid of him. And just like that, we countered both of their destroyers in the lobby. That is a win, okay? That is why I tell people, as a destroyer player, if you can spot them, like, you don't always have to get into a gunfight with a destroyer, but know when you have the advantage and try to spot them if nothing else. We have other people in the neighborhood that can help us. Just got a spot for them. Now here you can see, unfortunately I wasn't able to grab the middle cap. There's another battleship pushing into the B cap as well. So we are going to go straight into the alpha cap. Why? Because we're going to secure this flank. We've already wiped out their destroyers. All this here is a Conqueror. You can see I'm going to launch on the white line because I'm expecting him to turn out here. I'm going to try to put the torps where I think he's going to be. Unfortunately, he's actually going to run aground. Whether by choice or not, he's going to run aground, and that's going to throw these torps way off. Which is real unfortunate. But you can see he bumps into the island. That stops his progress. He's going to do it again a couple of more times. And then we're going to throw some torps in the general direction that I think he's going to end up. So we toss them out there. See if we can't catch him with one. Now, I don't have a smoke screen ready because we used it against the Delny. So we can't really engage this Conqueror here. We've already lost 2/3 of our hit points. So we can't get into a gunfight with a Conqueror at this range. He will just kill us. So here, we just be patient. Keep him spotted. Keep capping the base. He's going to leave the base pretty soon, and that's going to allow us to capture the base. There is another battleship behind him, and it's a Republique. And you'll see that Repub starts to get feeling pretty froggy too. But as you can see, one of those torps looks pretty solid. And fortunately, it catches him right on the side of the ship. But unfortunately, it hits his torpedo belt, which reduces the damage by quite a bit. Instead of 14,000, we get 9,800 damage. And that's the other downside of German destroyers. Now, you could go with the Blue Furor, or whatever the heck her name is, Furoria, or whatever her name is. You can go with her, but the Blue Furry, the problem with her is if you run her mosquito bites, that's exactly what you get out of torpedoes. Yes, they reload in 60 seconds or less, slightly less than 60 seconds if you go full torp build, but the damage that you get is nothing. I think it reduces the damage by 40%, so you end up with a torpedo that does 9,000 maximum damage or something like that, and then when you add in the damage reduction of battleships, I mean, you're getting torpedo hits for like $4 grand. It's just not worth it. It's not. So keeping the full damage output of this thing and then allowing it to maneuver itself around the map relatively easily with the concealment, I think, is the play. And then counter destroyers where you can, preferably if you can get them into a 1v1 gunfight. But don't be afraid to try to switch to AP on destroyers if they can angle. Like I said, if you can get a destroyer at an angle, you saw us chunk the crap out of that Delny. But most of the time the problem is you're going to be overpinning. So just pay attention to how much damage you're getting per salvo. And then swap ammo types if you need to. Because if you're shattering everything, maybe going AP is a good idea. But here we get our smoke back. That's going to help the destroyer or the cruiser behind us potentially as well. We get a fire immediately on the Yama. We go straight back over to shooting at the Repub. We're trying to spread the love. We want to get everybody on fire if we can. Yami puts out the double fire that he was on, and unfortunately for the Yami, he is lined up perfectly for those torpedoes that we've got going in the gap. So then we switch over from shooting at the Repub. The Yami's going to die. We know that. So we go for the Conqueror. Yami takes a just blind fire. Doesn't even hit the smoke screen. I don't know what he was. He was just upset and shooting his guns to shoot his guns at that point. But we managed to set a fire on the Conqueror. He damage cons it. So we get another shot out to try to see if we can set a fire. Unfortunately, we've got no spotting. So we've got to go out here and try to spot for ourselves. And we're going to go into patience mode, spotting mode. We could open water gunboat a little bit here, but it's still early in the match. I don't want to throw my ship away. And this is something that a lot of destroyer players just do not understand. Yes, there are opportunities to open water gunboat, but there are also opportunities to throw a match. Destroyers decide who wins and loses matches. And because of our patience in this match, we're able to keep the enemy off balance. They're not allowed to get settled in. They've constantly got to be worried about torpedoes. And you can see we're launching torpedoes on the Napoli as he's coming out. And then we're looking at potentially launching elsewhere. Obviously, with our short-range torpedoes, I say short-range, 10 kilometers isn't short-range, but shorter than most at the tier and above. So you got to be a little bit choice of where you can actually torp. The good news is they reload relatively quickly at 90 seconds with this build. So you've kind of always got torps available, especially if you stagger them out instead of launching all your torps at one time. But you can see I'm really wanting to start shooting here. But again, Napoli, Conqueror, Grossacar, First Repub, that's a lot of firepower looking at me. Those torps look fantastic, but unfortunately they're going to run out right before they hit the man. Fortunately, though, we're going to go ahead and anticipate this Conqueror putting himself behind that island. And we're going to torp the island, or right near the island, expecting him to beach himself. And then we're going to turn out and prepare to go to open water. Our team has moved into the center cap. The enemy is trying to grab the alpha cap. So as long as we can keep ourselves behind the island, we're going to keep everybody spotted, and we can do a pretty good job of helping our team here. Now, we've got 2 kills. The Conqueror is just begging for it at this point. You know you're going to get that kill. Right, I mean, we're going to get the permaflood here as well, so I'm pretty confident that we're going to kill this guy. We hit him with 2 torpedoes, I believe. Bonk. Nope, just one. 1 torpedo and a permaflood. And you can see, I really wanted to shoot him, but you can see he's got a fire on board too. So he's got a single fire and a permaflood. We're going to move out away from him. He's going to die. So we're just going to work on the rest of his team. Keep them spotted, keep them off balance, make sure that our team has ships to shoot at. And then once we get out here, the friendlies have the bases capped. The enemy has basically no chance to win at this point. So it's at this point that I start thinking about open water gunboating. While everybody's distracted, I'm going to get behind them in the open water and try to do my best at dodging some close range fire. Now, obviously, the ships that we're up against, there's some pretty heavy counters to us because, A, you got GK out here. GK has ridiculous secondaries and it has ridiculously good guns. The Repub has high-velocity 17-inch guns, which are disgusting. They're very easy to aim. And then, of course, you've got the Napoli, which has ridiculously good guns. So we have a lot of very good guns here. But we choose to go ahead and open up on them anyway and just have a little bit of fun dackying away on this Repub. And you can see he's on double or triple fire, it looks like there. So we're trying to get some room between us and the rest of the enemy, but we are literally going to get everybody's attention. They are not happy that we are here, and they're going to let us know about it. Now, fortunately, the Repub shot there was completely whiffed. The GK did hit us, and the GK is going to be a problem. The GK is going to be a real problem for us, because that man can aim. As you saw, we dodged that shell, barely. But we've got the Repub on a perma-fire. We're trying to finish him off. We're trying to hit the superstructure. Napoli fires some HE at us, and I try to get turned in, but unfortunately he catches us with a couple, knocks out a torp tube. The Repub whiffs his shot, but unfortunately the GK just, he keeps finding a way to hit us. I don't know if it's just the timing where he's just happening to get reloaded as I've evaded the other 2, but he does, man. Between him and the Napoli, they're the ones that do the most damage, and honestly, it's the GK. It's all the GK. I get a little overconfident against the GK here, thinking, we'll just be able to DACA. Nope. That man gets railguns and smacks us right through the bow, taking us down to 800 health left. Guaranteed kill for him. We try to slow down, maybe turn in. We try to get more shots out. You can see those ones missed, but that one did not. And when you only have 800 health left, it's just a matter of time before he finishes. But we do get the fire. And then he damage cons it. Dang it. You couldn't let one fire burn. Come on, man. Come on. You got no chance. Why put that one out? But I get it. 117,000 though. 3 kills. 2 of the destroyers hard countered by us with the help of some teammates. We had an opportunity for Kraken in that game. Like, We had the Conqueror yoinked out from under us. We had the Delny yoinked out from under us. If we get both of those kills, that's a Kraken. So overall, I'm liking the ship. I still prefer the Sumner. I'll take the Sumner over this any day of the week. Let's be real. Sumner is just better in every category. It's faster fire rate, better torpedoes with longer range so that you can put them in better areas. They take longer to reload. Doesn't have as much hit points as the Delny or as the Z-46, but Sumner is just better. It's more agile, smaller target, faster fire rate. The guns actually do damage when you shoot things. So it's definitely, in my opinion, the Sumner is still king at the tier for the destroyer. But the Z is pretty solid, and that the added bonus of having the sonar is always going to be a good thing. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. This match is going to be over relatively soon. This Napoli's going to, stretch this out just a little bit. He's getting shot by everybody. We've got the Shima going to be opening fire on him. We've got all of the teammates opening fire on him. I thought for a second he was going to double back into these torpedoes, but I think his plane actually spotted the torps, so he gets turned away and stays out of the way. But unfortunately for him, that opens him up to the GK, who has just got the most beautiful looking shot possible here. Wait for it. Firing the guns in 3, 2, 1. Shot out. And bonk. Good night, sunshine. So, let me know what you guys think. It's not very often we get to do these tier 8 Meethas because they're so goddarn expensive, but 117,000 damage, 3 kills, top of the leaderboard, 3,200 base XP because we do our job. Spotting, capturing bases, countering destroyers, all the goods, right? Let me know what you guys think, and if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.